Today, we'll review MLB 11, the show, and go hands-on with Ratchet & Clank, all for one.
Let's get your first look at an inventive new Kinect game and Age of Empires online. X-Play starts right now.
Hello and welcome to X-Play, which has been barred from practicing law in California. I'm Adam Sessler.
In Florida. And I'm Morgan Webb. We can't complain. We really had it coming.
Yes. Coming up, we've got your first look at Gunstringer, the new Kinect game from the creators of Explosion Man. And we've got a hands-on demo of Insomniac's 4-player platformer, Ratchet & Clank, all for one.
Then we're going to tell you, tech junkies, if your PlayStation Move needs to go pew, pew, pew when we review 2 gun attachments. And later, we will shower praise on some great user-created levels for LittleBigPlanet 2.
But first, a sport that people might play in 2011.
The way things are going, there might not be any football this year. Hooray for lockouts!
That's going to free up a lot of time for sports fans, and MLB 11, the show, might be a good way to fill it.
Here's our review.
Crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the smell of the HGH. It must be spring training. Time for MLB 11, the show.
And he gives this one a ride, high and deep to right center.
Let's just say this right off the bat. MLB 11, the show, just might be the most realistic baseball sim ever created.
Well, let's go ahead and put the radar gun on this line drive. Ugh.
That's a bold statement. Look at these glorious fields of dreams, just like being there without the parking rates. You can even smell the government corruption at Wrigley Field. That's realism. The commentary hasn't changed that much. Dave Campbell is still here.
Up, up, down, down. My producer tells me that sounds a little like a video game code.
Oh, Dave Campbell, as crazy as ever. All the modes any junior Nick Swishers could want are here, including the road to the show, where a player starts in the minor leagues innocent to the ways of the world. There's franchise mode, no major changes to this one. You know what you get, all the teams, all the players, one Brian Wilson. And of course the home run derby. Do they even have home runs in baseball anymore? All familiar to baseball gamers everywhere, even Cubby fans. The big change in the game, a significant one, is the new analog control system. Button-generated gameplay, like Barry Bonds, is yesterday's news. For pitching, just pull the stick to wind up and let her rip freak style. Hitting is a bit tougher. It'll take time to perfect. We suggest fooling around in the home run derby to get the swing down. Fielding is pushing the stick towards base the fielder wants. All will take time to perfect, but all good things do. A great idea we wholeheartedly approve of is the new one-button mode called the Association for Disabled Virtual Athletes. This allows for those disabled baseball fans to use a single button to play. We think that's a good thing. Everybody should have the chance to suffer along with the Dodgers. One point to make, MLB 11 the show just might be too accurate of a baseball sim. Baseball, while many things, isn't exactly a fast-paced fun-a-thon. It is baseball after all. Maybe not so realistic next time? Still the best. MLB 11 the show gets 4 A-Rod strikeouts out of 5.
So far, Kinect games, they've been all about waving your arms, doing the hustle, and jumping up and down. Really, just a lot of flailing. Kind of like me when I talk, actually. I'm sure you're wondering, where is the game that lets you shoot people? Be patient, my friends. It's coming. That game is the Gunstringer, and it's from the creators of Comic Jumper and The Maw, so I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Here's your first look. They say at the San Francisco-based Microsoft Games event, there was a game with grit. I wanted a first look at a game with grit. I am here with Michael Wilford. He is the Batman of Twisted Pixel Games, a name that other people gave him, not one that he gave himself. And we are here talking about Gunstringer. Congratulations, first of all, on the fact that you guys are literally the most talked about game here.
Yeah, I don't really know how to respond to that, to be completely honest. It's a huge surprise. When you're at the shop, you're working on a game, your head is down, you have no idea what people are going to expect. It's kind of weird to finally get it out there and people are really, really enthusiastic about it. Catches you off guard, I think.
The Gunstringer caught everybody off guard this fine night.
It's a Kinect shooter where you control an undead marionette Western gunslinger kind of guy. Out for vengeance, no less.
Yeah.
He basically is wronged by his posse. They kill him and leave him for dead. He comes back as a skeleton and he's on this quest. He pulls up this photograph and you can see all the guys in his posse and he has to X them off one by one as he goes and takes them all out.
With the Xbox Live Arcade, it's not necessary to pour billions into developing video games.
Being XBLA gives us a better ability to make this type of game with Kinect. We're, I think, a little more flexible in being able to like try different design things. We don't need to have a Kinect game be the be-all, end-all, graphically, multi-million-dollar budget. I think there's a certain amount of expectation for the XBLA market, so we can do some really awesome design stuff and show someone like something new you can do with it without having to sink that kind of money into it.
But who pulled the string?
And the Kinect makes it all possible.
As soon as we saw Kinect, we're like, crap, that means we can do the marionette game. We just didn't have any characters at the time.
Right.
So we were sitting in a restaurant, we looked up on the wall and there was this painting of like a Western skeleton thing. We're like, it's gonna be a puppet of an undead gunslinger, and then Gunstringer came about.
When are people going to be playing this in their living rooms?
Right now we're saying springtime. We don't have a specific date in mind yet.
Well, whenever that date arrives, be prepared for the Gunstringer. Coming up on X-Play, we're going to go hands-on with the 4-player co-op Ratchet & Clank All for One and reveal some of our favorite user-created levels for LittleBigPlanet 2. Plus, we're going to talk with Chris Taylor about Age of Empires Online and tell you if you really need to buy plastic guns to use with PlayStation Move. We'll be right back.
This portion of X-Play is brought to you by Mazda. Zoom, zoom.
Welcome back to X-Play. Now, when I hear someone say the words all for one, two things come to mind.
Yes.
Color Me Bad and me crying.
Well, for me, personally, it's the new Ratchet & Clank game. It has 4-player co-op.
Yeah, usually that means mini games.
It's not the case here. This is not for the Wii. It's a PS3 exclusive.
Adam, just the hands up.
Adam has a hands-on look. Pull it together, man.
It's so beautiful, their voices harmonizing.
Ratchet & Clank All for One forces one of our favorite duos to team up with Quark and Dr. Nefarious for a co-op platforming adventure. You might need your teammates to survive, but only one can win in the end. The fate of the universe depends on you. All of you. I'm happy to be joined by James Stevenson, Senior Community Manager at Insomniac Games. We're going to talk about Ratchet All for One. Yay, thanks for coming.
It's super exciting to be here. Thanks.
And thanks for bringing the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So for those that don't know, they probably know that, okay, this is a 4-player co-op game in the Ratchet universe, but, I mean, it's not a collection of mini-games, as I think people want to believe.
No, I mean, Ratchet & Clank All for One is a complete and full Ratchet experience. You have all 4 characters, you're going to have great cinematics, there's a story and progression through the whole game, so they're going to be exploring an alien planet that they don't know anything about and trying to work together to escape the planet, and the only way they can get off this planet is to, all work together, which kind of is crazy with Nefarious and Quark and Ratchet and Clank all at the same time through the whole game.
So what's the setting? What brings them to the planet that they have to work together, since they pretty much don't like each other?
So, at the end of A Crack in Time, they thought Nefarious was dead. We had the comics, which explain how Quark becomes Galactic President, and eventually we find out, oh, maybe Nefarious isn't dead, and they show up for an event, and Nefarious is there to surprise them, but something goes horribly wrong in Nefarious's plans, and a giant machine comes out of nowhere and scoops them all up, and this machine's called the Creature Collector. It takes them to this prison planet where it's been scooping up creatures from all over the galaxy, and they're not exactly sure why they're there, and when they wake up, they realize, oh, we have to figure out a way off of this, and the only way to do it is if we all stick together and make our way through.
What's kind of the core game mechanic that's in the game?
So it's really all about weapons still. Ratchet & Clank has always been about weapons, and this game is too. And the kind of philosophy we have for the co-op weapons is that weapons are really powerful alone, but they're super powerful if you all use them together. And that can be everyone using the same gun and creating a huge overload effect. If it's the Thunder Smack, if you all build a big enough thundercloud, it's a huge lightning attack. or you can separate out and specialize. If you use the arc lasher, you can stun an enemy while all your friends attack it, and it can't fight back.
Now, what are the key weapons that you're actually moving the electric jellyfish around with? It's new to the game. It's kind of a vacuum, and it projects air as well.
Yeah, the main key new gadget for All for One is a gadget called the Vacuum 3000, and you get this right off the bat in the game, and it's what you use to suck up bullets, it's what you use to suck up items in the environment and trigger items in the environment, but you can also use it to throw your friends, and it's really fun because your friends can jump into it, and then you can launch them across big gaps. You can also kind of be competitive with your friends and shoot them into the water or shoot them into enemies or knock enemies into your friends, so there's definitely some incentive to play a little dirty too.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. While it is a cooperative game, there is some competitive qualities to it, such as bolt collecting. It does judge who got the most bolts in the course of it. How do you sort of keep the balance between, having to work with others to get through the level, but also trying to keep more for yourself?
Well, you can see up in the corner there's kind of a bolt collection counter, and it shows bars that show who's collected the most bolts. But the overall pool of bolts is shared. So really everyone's working towards the same goal, and you all get to share the main amount, but the person who does the best gets a bonus. So there's really more incentive to work together, but there's definitely kind of that, oh, I gotta rush and get to that bunch of crates before someone else does, or oh, I wanna throw my friend off, or if someone goes down, everyone's gonna rush to heal them, because if you heal someone who's dead, you get some of their bolts as well. So there's a lot of little things to make everyone work together, while at the same time, all kind of compete and keep advancing as well.
When is All for One coming out?
It'll be coming out fall 2011.
All right, can't wait for it. Thanks so much, James. Let's go over to Morgan.
It seems like the new trend for MMOs isn't monthly fees or ripping off whatever Blizzard's doing, but the free-to-play model. With the success of games like Free Realms and Lord of the Rings Online, other developers are following suit. For instance, Chris Taylor and Gas Powered Games are working on Age of Empires Online, and here's your first look.
That's right, folks. The secret's out. The envelope-pushing dynamos at Gas Powered Games are heading the development of Age of Empires Online, the latest entry in this highly successful series. With Chris Taylor at the helm and design lead Ian Vogel in tow, you can bet the game will tread into new territory.
Huge announcement, Gas Power taking over Age of Empires. What does that mean exactly for this franchise?
It's very much been in a traditional RTS space where you'd go to the retail and you'd get a single player campaign, you can play online. But now we're talking about a game that is built for online. It turns the corner, it goes to the next level, it's the future.
Venturing into the future as an RTS with some persistent MMO elements, you can expect Age of Empires Online to break even more ground when it releases as a free-to-play game.
The free-to-play is the future. There's no doubt about it. They get hours and hours, if not dozens of hours of gameplay. The first two civs, the Greeks and the Egyptians that come out, are free-to-play. New civs come out also free-to-play. The model is very exciting.
Exciting indeed. For most people, free-to-play might sound like using microtransactions to get the most out of their experience.
We unlock everything with one buy. You're not buying the sword or the gear or the tunic of awesome. You're actually buying everything. So what we try to do is to focus on, there's a level of stuff at free, which is great, and then there's the next level, again, hundreds of items. But keep in mind, I really want everybody to know this, you still have to play the game. You can't be a level 1 guy, buy the premium content, and now you can compete with a level 40 guy. Not gonna happen.
The game's accessible model may seem too good to be true, but Ian hopes it's a model that will sustain a thriving community for years to come.
We want to create a community that 2 to 3 years is still viable. They're coming back, they're checking out the new stuff, and we get that by listening to them and thinking about what are they going to get from this? Value, commitment, ongoing content. We think that's all going to combine and be like, this is a world we're creating. Come play it.
Oh, we sure will, and what better way to do so than try out the beta of the game.
And if people want to sign up for the beta, they can go to the Age of Empires homepage and sign up, which we encourage, because we're always letting more and more people into the beta. Every now and again, we're letting another wave in.
There's no official release date yet, but expect the game's innovative approach to entice the masses sometime this year.
After the break, we'll reveal some of our favorite user-created LittleBigPlanet 2 levels. Plus, we'll tell you if the PlayStation Move Sharpshooter and the poorly named PlayStation Move Shooting Attachment, if they're worth a buy. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Correct, Spike. You know what's worse than dropping your hard-earned money on a terrible game?
Oh, easy. Waking up with your head sewn to the floor. It's way worse. Can't get
I
it.
was thinking of how much it sucks when you waste money on peripherals.
Oh, yeah, that definitely sucks too. Yeah.
Time for Tech Junkie.
All right, today we're looking at 2 peripherals that turn your PlayStation Move controller into a gun.
I know. Before we get to this big guy, which I know you're excited about, we're going to take a look at the smaller one. This is called PlayStation Move Shooting Attachment.
Okay, Morgan, now I understand. You've named it exactly what it is.
Yeah, they didn't really they didn't work that hard on the name.
No, they did not.
It is $19.99, of course. That does not actually include the controller. It is only the gun. And the gun, actually, I have to say, is kind of feels very cheap and plasticky. It's easy to use. You snap the controller in that you have, and you shoot. Pew, 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 pew. You know.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
That's perfect.
It's going to be good for like on rail shooters,
Right.
basically.
Right.
Cons. I think we already agreed that it was the lamest name ever. It has no processor on board. It doesn't map buttons elsewhere on the controller. Basically, it's just the trigger. That's all you get.
Right. And again, $19.99 is, I think, a little bit much maybe for that. I think
For
this
a
is an
plastic-
$8 thing, maybe. Yeah.
It's a piece of plastic.
Yeah, I feel like there should be really crappy gum in there when you
Yes.
buy it. Like it should come out and there should be crappy gum.
Yes.
On the other hand, though, we've got this magnificent thing that we've actually seen with the Move before. It's the PlayStation Move Sharpshooter. This one's going to set you back $39.99. I've actually had a little bit of experience with this thing. Super versatile. It's not just a case you put the control in. It actually has an onboard processor, and it allows you to map the buttons any way that you want. For instance, in a game like Killzone 3, you can map, like I find myself like using this button right here. This was like the hide behind cover button, the reload button. You can map it any way you want, and I think it makes a huge difference, especially in a game like Killzone 3, which is using a different kind of first-person shooter control scheme than what you're used to typically. So mapping the buttons are awesome. And also, it's got fun things like if you want to reload, you can actually do this. And if you're a little boy like me, this is super fun.
Okay, but how do the Killzone controls actually work? I mean, it's going to take a little getting used to, right?
Right, well that is, I think, one of the only downsides is that, you know, this is going to put, wherever you're pointing this, that's where the reticle goes. But
Okay.
you still need to turn using the analog stick, so you find yourself, and it's kind of hard to do because we're limited with space here, but let's say you have an opponent off screen to your left. You automatically want to just turn and shoot to the left.
Right.
You have to somehow find a way to train your brain to use this while you're turning. So the first maybe hour or so, the learning curve, you get really floaty, you're going to get killed quite a lot. But for the most part, it's a pretty cool thing. The con is that right there, it works really good for on rails when you don't have to control the direction. But other than that, you know, for $39.99, I think it's a pretty good thing. I really do.
So it's going to take a steep learning curve at first, unless you're playing with an on-rail shooter. So just
Right.
sort of warn people that don't get too frustrated with it. Give it a chance.
Right. But if you had to pick two, if you got it in your head, listen, I gotta buy some sort of peripheral that will
Right.
allow me to use the Move controls gun, vastly superior product right here.
Save the extra couple bucks, save the extra $20, and you'll be happy that you did.
Yes.
And we have come a long way since the Wii Zapper.
Absolutely.
All right, let's send it over to Adam. Pew, 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 pew.
My guns go geek-aw, geek-aw. And that's why I don't get to play with the two of them. So thank you for that demonstration. The LittleBigPlanet 2 community is bursting with creative and talented level designers. You could spend hours just browsing the menus, deciding what to play next. Sure, most of them are violating trademarks and just copying existing games, but they do it so well. Here's 5 of our favorites. Plants vs. Zombots takes our favorite vegetarian tower defense game and saccharalizes it. LittleBigPlanet versions of pea shooters, tall nuts, and moaning undead terrors are too cute for words. If you don't have a thumb green enough for Plants and Zombies, maybe Pinball Blisters are more your speed. Monster Pinball 2 does a surprisingly great job turning your LittleBigPlanet session into a themed table complete with creepy atmosphere and a boss battle with the Grim Reaper. Tommy ain't got nothing on this guy. Are you so obsessed with Peggle you see it everywhere? So is the creator of Pegged 2. This simple, challenging puzzle game does a great job of showing off the deceptively powerful physics built into LittleBigPlanet 2. Pegged combines all the fun of pachinko with the excitement of lasers and the cute factor of a boy made of sack. Every Geometry Wars junkie needs to download Madness is an option. The fast and furious twin-stick shooter handles like a dream. You forget this is built entirely in LittleBigPlanet 2's engine. There are 3 modes to choose from, and if you play it long enough, yes, madness will be an option. Rounding out our list is, well, this. We don't know what inspired Miniweave to craft this elaborate continuation of the Sonic Adventure series, but here it is, complete with rings, Eggman, and a creepily vacuous Sonic. The level doesn't have the tightest controls or the most elegant design, but the amount of love that went into it puts a smile on our faces. Now, if only Sonic would stop staring at me.
Tomorrow on X-Play, we'll have the latest on everything Microsoft, the Kinect version of Child of Eden, new Halo Reach maps, and Tim Schafer's Sesame Street game. These are the big ones. Plus, we'll get some FaceTime with Battle Los Angeles star Aaron Eckhart and get his take on the movie's tie-in shooter. And if you're thinking about picking up a Nintendo 3DS this weekend, don't miss our hands-on look.
Plus, we'll answer questions from the X-Play inbox.
You know, I'm just excited that the 3DS is coming out, and we're going to find out how much people are willing to pay for a handheld.
Yes, especially to play Pilot Wings with that much visual depth. It offers opportunities never before seen in Pilot Wings games.
Thanks for watching X-Play.